Hello and welcome to our program Where God Weeps. Today we're going to consider the situation of Christians in the Holy Land through the eyes of someone who lives that diversity, a Palestinian Christian and an Israeli citizen. To tell us more about the situation confronting Christians today, it is my pleasure to welcome Archbishop Elias Chacour, a three-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee and the Melkite Catholic Bishop of Galilee. Archbishop Chacour, thank you for being with us here today.
I'm very honored. I'm pleased to be with you and with all those who watch us on TV.
Archbishop Elias Chacour, you are a man of peace. You are a man of reconciliation. But this story came out of grief, out of your early youth. Can you tell us a little bit about this early time in your life?
And that's very, very true. I was living in a small village in Galilee, an entirely Christian Catholic village. We were poor but extremely happy. And one day my father gathered us saying, we might have Jewish soldiers coming to our village. They have machine guns, but surely they will not kill us. We have to show them that somewhere in this world they are most welcome because they are our blood brothers. And these Jews survived the massacres of Europe. And that's what happened. They came, we gave them our food, we offered them our beds to sleep. We remained for 10 days sleeping on the roofs of our houses while the soldiers were using our homes. After that, they ordered the heads of families to leave for 2 weeks, and they gave them a written promise within 2 weeks they will return. And we went under olive trees, fig trees, remained there. 2 weeks later, my father, with all other heads of families, gathered again and went to see the army. They went, but they never, ever came back.
He was deported.
They were like cattle into military trucks and driven far away to the newly created borders of the new state of Israel. And they had to cross the Jordan River to Amman and walk from there to Damascus, from there to Beirut. And many of them were stuck in these Arab countries and became the Palestinian refugees in the Arab countries. Very few were able to infiltrate back through the northern borders with Lebanon. And my father was among those very few.
So you thought, in fact, you would never see your father again?
We have believed that he is lost, like all the heads of families in that village. And suddenly one evening, one person knocked on the door of the room that we have found empty because the inhabitants fled to Lebanon. He was knocking on the door. Mother asked, who is that? And he said, I am Michael, open the door. And she was so much in tears, she did not open the door. She came back to us and said, children, your father is back. And he was knocking on the door. When we opened, he was there. And this man has never, ever encouraged us to take revenge against the Jews. He never wanted us to settle accounts.
I was going to ask you, because as a young boy, having seen this, you could have had a desire for revenge or a desire to seek or engendered bitterness, but this didn't have this response in you. Was this from your father?
It was an option to take arms, to use violence. Had it not been for my father and mother who continually said to us, if you use violence, you will be as violent, as evil as those who have deported us. Do not use violence because you will have more violence. Father wanted only to return to his home, to rebuild his home. Maybe he said, one day we will come back again. We welcome Jews back again who are wandering with no address. My father died in Haifa. We had no place to bury him, so we carried him to the cemetery of our village and we buried him with our ancestors. And out of that I learned that there should be an alternative to enmity, to hatred, to violence, to retaliation. And the only good retaliation that we adopted because of my father is to turn our enemies into friends and our friends into brothers and sisters. And we are still busy doing that. It's not easy, but it's extremely exciting. It gives you the feeling that You have something sublime to give to humanity. You have something different that the ongoing culture of death, of suspicion, of abstract war against terrorism that creates its own monsters. We have to be a smile of hope on the face of our children, on the face of our people.
You are a Palestinian Christian and you hold Israeli citizenship. You have this diversity inside of you. How do you reconcile this?
Humanly speaking, it's impossible to be a Palestinian, a proud Palestinian like I am, an Arab, my mother language is Arabic, a Christian, and a citizen of Israel. Politically speaking, it's a contradiction. But nonetheless, we are doing everything to choose the other side of the coin. Instead of contradiction, we are looking for the complementarity that is hidden in these different affiliations. And we ask ourselves, is it not time that from these separate, isolated, lonely identities, is it not right that we try to make a mosaic, a beautiful image of unity within the diversity? We don't want to live in the difficult past and dig into our suffering. We don't want to play the victims of anybody. We don't want compensations from any nation. We want to look at the future and do something in the present time to regenerate hope in the hearts of our people and also to regenerate trust and confidence in the hearts of our Jewish neighbors.
What do you tell young people so embittered and angry? How do you help them overcome this sense of bitterness and anger?
I don't need to help them overcome anything. I need them to discover something new, which is the potential of hope, the potential of friendship, the potential of dignity that's deep rooted into their own history, into their own personality, and that they have to implement that, to live it now in order to write the history of their future together with Jewish kids and Palestinian kids.
You have argued that the tension between Jewish and Palestinians is not a religious one, it is not a racial one. Where does the problem lie?
I hope it's evident for you also that you agree with me that it's neither racial nor religion. If you disagree with me, you are wrong. Because the conflict is basically about identical claims of two nations on the same territory, which the ones call it the ancestral land of Palestine, the others call it the promised land, and neither of them is able to say, I am also right. To include this very small word of also right, which gives also space to the other to say, I am right. But that includes, I am also wrong, which includes the other is also right. So it is a conflict about territory, and both sides use their religion, their history, their evil sides and their good sides in order to justify their socio-political claims on a territory called Palestine by the ones, Israel by the others.
Your Excellency, there was a film made about you called Prophet in His Own Country. And in that film, you asked yourself the question, how can we find a common language for three families who share one God? Have you found an answer to this question?
Yes, we have to be re-educated to the common life we had together, Palestinian Christians, Muslims, and Jews, those who claim to be of the monotheistic religions. And if we remind ourselves that we are proud to be the children of one person called Abraham from Iraq, and Abraham, even in the Jewish Talmud, says about himself, Ger Anochi Hai Ben Am Goy, I am a foreigner living among Gentile nations. If we remember only that in the Bible, Abraham was never described as a chief of a clan, of a nation, of an army, of a party, but he is always, everywhere introduced as a father of a family. And he has many children. I think it's time for us, the Abrahamic family, to reason more wisely and to stop killing each other and to do like Jacob and Esau after having fought together because they did not have enough water in that one cistern they had. When they realized it's better to dig another cistern and to reconcile, it was much more honoring their father's memory. This is the same we need in Israel, Palestine, to share the land together.
You have converted your words into actions, and you are the founder of the Mar Elias Institution, a system of schools reconciling and bringing together Christians and Palestinians and Jews. Can you tell us what was the foundation? What was the beginning, the start of this initiative?
Well, it was a very difficult start because as a citizen of Israel, I'm a law-abiding citizen unless if the law goes against human dignity, then I throw the law aside and I go without it. I applied for a building permit and soon the reply came, rejection, denial of a building permit. I had to decide what to do, to stop building or to build without building permit. And my decision was, I needed the building, not the building permit. And I started the construction without building permit and Surah. I convinced myself that when the Israeli police would come to check, I have to remember that the Jewish police has something in common with the Palestinian police, with the German police, with the American police. Always, everywhere, unmistakably, behind the uniform of the policeman, you have a human being hidden, not a monster. And I needed to strip the police from his uniform to discover the man, to discover the husband, to discover the father, to discover the human being. And that's what was done. It was not easy.
You had to build at night.
No, during the day and at night. We started at 6 in the morning, we went up to midnight. It was a race against the police and a race for human dignity. What happened later on, I was summoned to court. I went to court. The judge was Jewish, and the police was Jewish, and I am a Palestinian. What do you expect? The worst? Well, the police required the destruction of that building. The judge said, "What is your answer, Mr. Chacour?" I said, "Sir, I don't have any answer. If you destroy this building, I will take some pictures and go all around the world showing what Israel does for building schools. And I will collect more funds to build 10 illegal schools and we'll have business together all our life." He said, "But that's not fair." I said, "Then order the police to facilitate the obtention of building permit." And the judge said, "Where is your lawyer?" I said, "I don't have a lawyer. It's too expensive." He said, "Father Chacour, go home and bring your lawyer. It's a very serious matter. You cannot defend yourself in front of the court. You have to have a lawyer." I said, "Give me enough time." He said, "I give you 4, 5, 6 months." And he decided that the 6 months would end on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. I protested. I'm a priest. I'm in church on Sunday morning. I don't come to court. He said, "It's your business. Or you come or we'll decide in absentia. And if you're not happy, we are in a democratic country. You can write a letter 1 week before and we'll see what we can do." 1 week before the end of 6 months, I wrote a letter to the judge saying, "You cannot order a rabbi to come on Saturday morning to court. And I am a Christian rabbi for the Church of God. You cannot order me to court on Sunday morning. I don't come." And he answered me, "Then okay, we postponed the session for another 6 months." And he decided they would end on a Sunday morning, 10 o'clock.
All the time you kept building?
We kept the construction building, yes. And I rewrote and he repostponed. This Jewish judge repostponed the session for 6 months ahead, for Sunday morning, 6 times, 36 months. I tell this story to tell people, please do never generalize. Don't think that Jews, because they have a problem with the Palestinians, they are all eager to kill the Palestinians. Don't think that because the Palestinians have a serious problem with the existence of Israel, that they want to kill all the Jews. It's not true. Do not generalize. Well, we continued the construction despite the court. 9 months later, we finished, and we opened the school for 80 children aged 13, 14 years old.
You have, as you mentioned, you started with 84 teachers, I believe.
1 lady and 3 men, yeah.
Now the school is?
We have over 4,500 students with 290 faculty members, out of whom there are 100 PhD holders, 92 master degrees. And among these faculty members, we have, and this is normal, it's no breaking news, we have 32 Jewish men and women working for us.
You have Jews, Muslims, and Christians attending the school. They work, they study together.
Yeah.
Do they, when they go home, do they take this reconciliation with them back into their communities?
You have children, right? When your child is in the school and he is taught by sometime a Christian, sometime Muslim, sometime a Jew, and he goes back home, do you think that he will forget his Jewish teacher, his Christian Muslim teacher? He will tell his parents the experience he had in school. We have no access to the parents. They are too complicated, too busy doing their things. The best way is to teach their children, and the parents have no choice. They have to listen to their children. And the children become our ambassadors to their children, to their parents, saying to them, violence breeds only violence. We have to look for the friendship that's hidden in our neighbors, not for the enmity.
This work of reconciliation, your life has been threatened many times, and you have been kidnapped once by the PLO.
This is forgotten. I forgot that.
Did you ever fear, were you ever afraid for your life, for your work?
I felt very often that my life was threatened, but I was never afraid. I don't know why. Maybe because I am deeply convinced if you are threatened, you might end on the cross and die on a Friday evening. But the sad Friday is only 24 hours, and it will be followed by the dawn of Sunday morning, the day of the resurrection. I really, up till now, don't care how long I will live. I care what for do I live. And that's what's important for me.
Nonetheless, the extremist groups are gaining ground. We see ever greater division, ever greater extremism. Do you despair?
Despair why? There were always extremist groups. My problem is with the international media, for whom the breaking news deal only with violence, with bombs, with killing, with massacres. The silent majority that is looking for coexistence, for integration, for living together, it's never breaking news for you in the West. While it should be the breaking news. When a Christian boy, a Muslim boy, a Jewish boy, a Druze boy can go together and sit together around the same school desks, and they write together the common history they want for their future. But this is no breaking news. These are like whispers that root human beings in the ground of life.
You have often said that Arab Christians are caught between two poles, between extremist Palestinian and extremist Jews. Is this a curse or a blessing? That is, can the Christians, they suffer, but there is an opportunity.
The picture is not completely painted by you. We are not caught between Muslim and Jewish extremist groups as much as also between Muslim, Christian, Muslim, Jewish and Christian extremist groups. All these born-again Christians. The Christian right wing that is sometimes like the Qaeda. They have their idea, all the others have to go to hell. All these people, fundamentalist people, are frightening. They do not tolerate anybody else that does not sing their own hymn And we cannot sing any hymn else than that of the Sermon on the Mount, and that's troubling. And because we believe in the love of the enemies, in the forgiveness of those who insult us, we do believe that we have to give, and to give without any hope of return back. That does not please politicians and fundamentalist people who think they are the ones who will go alone to heaven and all the others will go to hell.
Christians are leaving.
Yeah.
What fear do you have for the Holy Land?
Well, it is a serious concern, not fear. It's a concern that the Holy Land might very soon become a land of antiquities, a land of memories of what happened 2,000 years ago, and nobody would be there to tell the story of what happened, to tell the story of a compatriot, to tell the story of ancestors who are Jesus, Mary, the apostles. It would be a sad reality to have the Holy Land without living stones.
What importance do you see for works of charity like Aid to the Church in Need for the Holy Land?
I have to be very careful here. Although we need the financial support, we need it very, very much. That they are not people who provide you with money only. They provide you with prayers. They provide you with mass intentions. They provide you with friendship. They come and visit and see what is being done with their money. During the last war to Lebanon, 10 persons of my diocese were killed, and I made the funerals for all of them. We had people who are in dire need, in deprivation, others who are frightened because they live on the front lines. It was a dramatic situation. I needed to take many hundreds of elderly people far away from the front line to somewhere in Jerusalem where there was no fights then. And I stopped all the small development activities in the diocese in order to use the money for that purpose, and it was not enough. They said immediately, it is normal that you ask us. We thank you for asking us to help. And they sent us some symbolic amount, 15,000 euro. But these 15,000 euros helped me to help at least 300 elderly people to get away from the battlefields somewhere else to feel that they have some peaceful time. That is so discreet. That is given out of faith and love and trust. It's a sign of something else than financial help. And I appreciate that immensely.
Your Excellency, you were made Archbishop at age of 65, when yes. I think you probably were thinking there were other things or other ways of spending your time. Was it a surprise for you?
Well, I was planning firmly to go into retirement the soonest possible and to start praying whenever I want, writing, sleeping, sightseeing. But the Lord had some other plans, and His name is holy. So I had to accept His will and to take the responsibility for the largest Christian Catholic community in the Holy Land that counts 76,000 Christians. I'm proud to be their bishop, because I'm not only the bishop of 76,000 parishioners. I have some other troublesome parishioners. I'm the only bishop on the earth, the only one who can say, I have a parishioner called Jesus Christ, another the Virgin Mary, others are the disciples. They are all men from Galilee, from my diocese, and the potential of creating other people of God is still there. I have to push on it. I have to educate them. Our Christians can do exactly what Mary, the Mother of God, did. They can carry Christ and deliver Him to others. We can do what Paul has done, to proclaim a good news. There is no more privilege for Jew against Gentile, man against woman, Lord against slave. We are all called to become adopted children of God, even you Germans, Americans, Canadians, and others. Isn't that a great good news?
If you had an appeal to the viewers of the television program, what would that be?
First of all, know that Palestinians are also Christians. Then when you go to the Holy Land, go and visit the shrines. But don't go only for that. Go and visit the living stones. Your Arab, Palestinian, Christians and brothers, we are waiting for you as we were waiting for your ancestors for 2,000 years to come and tell you, you are welcome, we love you. We gave you our Christ, we gave you our Mary, we gave you the apostles. Come and share our life. And I call and appeal to them for those who are able to contribute, to help us build the needed projects, either education, social, extracurricular activities, or churches. We need your help in order to become self-reliant and to help ourselves.
Archbishop Elias Chacour, thank you for having been with us. We will continue to pray for you, to pray for the Diocese of Galilee. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having been with us today in our program. And if you'd like to know how you can help the Diocese of Galilee, Archbishop Elias, we ask you to consider the contact information posted at the end of this program. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Where God Weeps.